What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm out here in the yard today and enjoying our snowy weather and can't work all week. You see the flatbed here. The mills are closed. About half the roads are closed. Can't go anywhere because this is a nice powdery snow. We don't usually get this. We usually get the wet stuff. This is after the first storm that's came through. We're supposed to have another storm coming through tomorrow. It's supposed to drop about this much more snow. And so I don't know how that's going to go, but it's warmed up this morning till about, I don't know, 16 or 18 degrees so far. It got down last night in the single digits. Very uncommon here. I don't even know when the last time that occurred, but it usually don't get down in the upper 20s, lower 20s the worst. But so this is what we're dealing with today. So no work for the week, very little traffic on the road. Go somebody there, think they work for the water department, driving real slow, four-wheel drive. Yeah, everywhere you go, you're driving real slow if you can even get there. A lot of two-wheel drive vehicles can't even go anywhere. But I thought we'd do a little cold start video and see if the Volvo here will crank. And it's been sitting here for 4 days, so it's got 8 batteries on it. We should have enough battery power to turn it over, so we'll see how it goes, I suppose. See how deep the snow is on the ground right there. I'll show you all these Volvos have the information on the instrument cluster there. That's the oil temperature, 8 degrees. That's what it is outside right now. This truck has 8 batteries on it, as I say, because it's got a APU, a battery operated APU. So let's see what happens. Too bad at all. I expected it to be a little bit worse than that. A little bit slow to turn over, but considering it had 8 batteries on it, it got the job done. My old truck, it wouldn't start it and it's cold. This truck's got a gear reduction starter on it too, so that helps. I'm gonna let it warm up for a little bit because it's probably going to be sitting here for another 4 days. Let these batteries build up a little bit. See the oil temperature starting to come up 22 degrees. My heat pump doesn't sound too happy. Got some ice on the blades, kind of out of balance. Probably ought to turn it off and put it in emergency heat mode. Let's see if the old Dodge here will start. Oh, windshield wiper just left on from last time. You can see how much snow is on the back porch here. Steps are so thick you can't hardly walk down them. We're going to go ahead and try to start the Duramax too. I don't really need it for anything, but I got everything else running, so we'll crank it up, let the battery build up some if it'll start. Oh yeah, no problem. This duramax will go into high idle mode in a minute and start whistling. There it goes. Show y'all this real quick on my Dodge here. I had this done when this truck was right after I bought it. The truck was like 2 or 3 years old. I carried it to the Dodge place. The 06 and 07 5.9 Cummins trucks had the same ECM as like the 45 5500 series trucks that used on wreckers with PTO, and I had them program the cruise here, turn the cruise on, set it, and then you can increase just like in a big truck or something up to 1500, and that's for like PTO usage on a wrecker, whatnot. But it has to be enabled by the Dodge place or someone that can do that, and it helps it warm up faster or whatnot. It also be used for boosting off vehicles or whatnot. You need a little more alternator output, but it helps it warm up a little faster in the cold weather like this. Alright guys, well, everything started surprisingly well. I'm filming with a GoPro today because I have 2 batteries for it, or maybe even 3, I'm not sure. I got 2 that I found, and my other camera only had 1 battery, and that cold weather the camera batteries doesn't last very long. So yeah, everything started surprisingly easier than I thought it would. I know my old 18-wheeler would not start. Both of them's got the same engine, but they have a different starter on them. This new truck has got a gear reduction starter, and it's got 8 batteries. It's got 4 on each side because it's got a battery APU on it. My old truck only had 4 batteries, and sometimes it only had 3 because one of them would go bad and I would just disconnect it and then get some, you know, batteries a few months later or whatever. So yeah, it didn't start too well when it got down in the low 20s. If you let it set over a couple of days, it wasn't going to start. I'd have to hook booster cables to it. That one there seemed to do surprisingly well, and even when it cranked, it seemed like it, you know, it didn't miss like the other truck did. Seemed like it a little bit better at the cold weather starting. So I don't know, maybe a little difference in the ECM, the computer there, the timing and whatnot. So I don't know. Anyway, I got the Dodge out there warming up. We'll take it and go to a buddy of mine's house and see what he's up to. And I think that's the most capable truck I have for its off-road, with the bigger tires, mud tires, whatever. A lot of people say the mud tires don't work good in the snow. I found they bite pretty good myself. So hopefully that'll work out. And these Southerners can't drive very well in the snow either, and some of them still trying to drive 50 miles an hour, wonder why they run off in the ditch. And some of them's got summer tires on their car and 2-wheel drive car, and wonder why they're getting stuck in the middle of the road. So this is what we're dealing with, guys. This here is a state road, a pretty heavily traveled state road usually, but not much traveling going on here today. So they put some salt, it appears, on some of these hills and some of the bridges, but I'm not sure why they wasted their time. And it did not appear to do very much. You definitely ain't going to be no 18-wheelers coming down through here. And we're supposed to be getting more, as I say, this next storm coming up tomorrow. I feel like I moved to Canada or Alaska or something. This is a back road here. See the cows out there. What the field looks like. Never mind that crack in my window glass there. Hit it with a rock when I was cutting the yard. Laminated glass, it cracked the outer layer. Windshield wipers done froze back to the window. I had them free earlier. Got a little bit of traffic down this road here. It's actually worse on the main highway, they done packed it down and created ruts. Some of these people's driving way too fast. Had a guy in a dually a while ago, came up behind me running about 40 miles an hour. He was all over the road, thought he was gonna run into me. I pulled over and let him go on. He can run in the ditch if he wants to. I'd rather not be involved in it. Pretty deep right there. I don't know if you've seen them ruts, how deep it is. It's probably a good 5 inches or so. So, yep, don't have much to do today. Not going trucking in this. No, thank you. I don't think you'd make it up these hills anyway, or down the hills without stopping. I mean, without sliding. Sure enough rough in some of these places where it's thawed out and refroze. It got hard again. Yep, I did not meet a 18-wheeler in probably 20 miles over here, and Louisiana doesn't have any snow plows, so I don't know. I don't think there'll be any trucks on the road for another 3 days probably. This here should maybe start to get a little slushy this afternoon, and then we're gonna have some more coming on top of this, and then it's gonna refreeze, and so it'll be a few days before we can get back to hauling anything. So I rode over here with a friend of mine. He's putting some hay out for his cows. It's a little bit cold out there for me. It's showing 28 here in the truck. It feels a lot colder than 28 to me, and my feet gets cold walking in the snow, so I'm just sitting here chilling at the moment. Now I want y'all to tell me this, what kind of sense this makes. The whole road everywhere is nothing but a sheet of ice, and they going through the trouble of salting the bridges. It does not make a lot of sense to me. I could see if the road is clear, you don't want ice on the bridge because you're gonna hit the bridge with some speed. But when the whole road is ice, why salt the bridge? They didn't do real good on this one, but you can see the snow and the ice is melted. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense when the whole road is a sheet of ice and it's getting slicker. The snow is packed down, and it thawed out a little bit today. Temperature got up to around 28 to 30, and you can tell it's packed. This is not even the worst right here. This is not a heavily traveled road, so it's not as packed as what the main road is. And they also put a lot more salt on the main road over there on the bridges. All right, guys, this is a pretty heavily traveled road here. You can see how the white is gone and starting to turn clear. It's refreezing, or already refroze. It's turning into an ice rink out here. I got my light bar on, hopefully you can see that. I doubt you can see this crack in my windshield. That occurred today too. It was cold, everything on the outside, and I had the defrost on. I had a little chip in the right hand side, far right corner of my window over there, and the crack ran all the way across. See, they salt this bridge here. Doesn't appear so. see how they salted this bridge. It's still refreezing. See, they salted this bridge here heavy. Earlier it was slushy earlier in the day, and they salted going up these hills here. You can see how you know, they've cut through, the vehicles have cut through down to the road somewhat. But it's all refroze now. We got supposedly about 3 or 4 more inches on the way, so kind of seems like a waste of time to me. I know they salted this bridge here heavy too, and this curve. This is a bad curve right here. It slopes to one side. They salted this really heavy today. You can kind of tell by looking at it. But it's all since refrozen. The car, turn that light bar off. But yeah, you can see how slushy this is here. Everybody's got light bars running them. You can tell the difference in where this has been salted and where the other hadn't been. That's hard packed for sure. And this bridge here probably don't have anything on it. Like I say, they pretty heavily salted this. You see the bridge is almost totally free of any ice. And then going up this hill here, we really don't see what the point is when the whole rest of the road is ice road. And we got 3 more inches coming tonight, is what they said. And tomorrow. And probably 1 inch of that's going to be ice, probably 2 to 3 inches of snow is what they're claiming. We get 1 inch of ice on top of this, sure enough, not going to be going anywhere. There's a salt truck right there. This is the road in front of my house right here. See, it's clear. Nothing but ice. It's done remelted, or melted and refroze. I had trouble stopping, as you see, and it's going downhill. So I kind of look for somebody to have a wreck in my front yard in the morning. And they salted this curve here too. And see the ruts? I was trying to turn left and my truck kept going straight when I was trying to turn in my driveway. Yep, pretty rough. Alright guys, so I did make it home safely, and I'm going to wrap this video up because it's getting kind of long. And this is just the first half of the storm, or the first storm has come through, and we were expected to get this much as we got. The second storm, the electrical grid is being overloaded, and I know the power company that I'm on has shut down 2 of their substations, and some of the other power companies are doing rolling blackouts. This is going on across Texas as well. Texas has a lot of wind turbines and solar panels, and that's causing a big problem because they don't generate electricity in this, and everybody's got their heaters turned up because it's so cold. And so there's no way that electric cars is going to be working out really well for the way things are going right now until they make some vast improvements to the electrical grid, because yeah, they can't even keep everybody's house on right now, and the people over in Texas are very, very unhappy with how things are going, because a lot of them have been without power for 48 hours, and it's 30-something degrees in their house, and they're getting hypothermia. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up, and we're gonna see what the second storm brings tomorrow, and I'll put that in a separate video for everybody. We'll see. The roads are getting pretty much like an ice rink now. The snow and ice pack has gotten packed down from the vehicle traffic. It has started to melt today when the temperature got up to about 28 to 29 degrees, and the sun on the road. and then it refroze tonight because it's down to about 19 or so now. And so it's going to be an ice rink tomorrow, and it's not probably going to matter if you got four-wheel drive or not. You're probably not going nowhere, because once it gets to an ice rink, you just about need ice skates or studded tires or chains or something, and there's not even any of that stuff available around here for sale. You know, you can put some screws or something in your tires, but when they salt half of the town and the rest of it's ice, if you put any chains or studs or anything in your tires, when you drive across the asphalt that's been salted, it's going to chew them up, and then you get to the other side of town where it's ice, you're back to square one. So I don't know what their thought was for that, but anyway, that's how it is. We don't have any snow plows, so we got enough ice rink down here. So anyway, guess we'll see what tomorrow brings when we get the other 2 or 3 inches of ice or snow. We probably won't have any electricity. They say the second round that's coming in is going to be more so freezing rain and sleet and not very much snow. So it's going to be, they're saying, like an inch of ice. And if we get an inch of ice on the power lines and the trees, we're probably not going to have any electricity for 2 or 3 days. So anyway, that's how it is. Luckily, we still got electricity now, but as I say, I've got an email from my electric provider asking, you know, to turn down the thermostats and, you know, cut off non-essential stuff and try to conserve electricity because the grid is being overloaded. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. We'll see you guys in the next video.